Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Creative Shock, a Grand Archive podcast. I'm your host, Limelight, and we have our co-host, Gazimers here. What a
Yep.
big week. What a big week, mate.
Very, very busy week.
I am
For
knackered.
It's definitely a lot of Grand Archive. Definitely a lot of Grand Archive.
Yeah. I definitely, funnily enough, I haven't really been in a situation before where I've gone to like many locals. I know that people in the Dragon Ball scene, they used to go to 5 to 6 locals a week to prep for a big tournament. I was never that person just because I burn out very easily with that stuff. But
Yeah.
I did notice that after these events, I wasn't that burnt out. I still could keep playing and keep thinking on what I want to do, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I know for me, it was like the first time I've even visited a couple of stores.
yeah, same.
So, well, for those that don't know, I guess we've been saying it in the previous episodes that we had Roger / Sitzacras down for a week, going to different stores, just promoting Grand Archive. So
I think it was, as you just said, it was good because I did go to stores I haven't been to before. And there was like new faces, which I didn't realize how many new faces there would be.
yeah,
And also it gave me time I went into the first event with my Ascension list, and I ended up coming out the last event with a brand new Ascension list. So over those 5 events, I kind of, I mean, I'm back to making it fresh again, but I felt like I was
yeah,
bringing it more and more refined each day.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you start off with a starter deck right on the first event, mate.
Yeah, first event went with Fry. Couldn't be bothered getting a couple of proxies. Second event, let's get the record straight too. I'm not going to name a store, but every event was whoever top Swiss won the event,
Yep.
and then the event I top Swiss, but doing top cut. I'd already climbed the mountain of an unfavorable matchup
So
against Swiss.
funny.
I can't do it in a best of 3. So no winners for me. You got yourself a couple of foils, and your
I
better half also managed to
got
claim a
lucky,
foil.
mate. Got lucky. Amy won the first event with Fire Luxem Xander, and then I
Yeah,
managed to close out the last 2 events with my. That's the thing, right? I worked so hard on that Wind Ascension list, but then I just swapped to Fire for fun and win with it twice. Like, Wind just can't close games out.
I think Fire's best of a Fire is definitely a better high best of 1 high roll.
I agree, 100%. Because I feel like it's got when I was making the 2 decks, I'm like, this Fire deck has no defense. If anyone beats it to level 3, it loses. But then if you just high roll with it, it just can't be stopped. So yeah, day 4 and day 5 managed to win with the Lamborghini. And then Amy also managed to hit a raffle. So we managed to end up taking away 4 foils. But yeah, they're all on their way to America. All off. I feel like down the track, I'll hopefully get some more from other events. I think the locals will be getting some more later on. So I'll wait till later on to get some more.
Yeah, and
That's
we'll
the
also
plan.
have we will also be grabbing the details of the winner from the previous episodes, and we'll
Yes,
send
it is
the
here and ready
non-foil.
to be sent off. There we go. Look at that bad boy. It is ready.
Yeah,
Got it
so
nice and safe and next to me.
Shadow Gamer, that's
Yep.
coming to you.
Grandpa Joe, on your way, mate. We'll have that this week sent to you. What do you think of the actual events? Do you think that many people would turn out? Do you think it was quieter than you thought? What was your 2 cents over the weekend?
So the first event was 30 people, which was
Mm-hmm.
nice. Which was the biggest event. It was good to see different people at different events.
Mm-hmm.
Which was nice. I guess the Friday highlight for me was the Friday. It was then after we went and got dinner.
Yeah.
Which was
11 o'clock dinner.
11 o'clock dinner. That's why it's in the city, so
Guy tried to punch
it's
on
still
with me. That
open.
was great.
Guy did try to punch on with us.
And I had my
He did
name
not
on the
like
back of
you.
my shirt. I had the name on the back of my shirt, so he was yelling cusses and
He was
chasing
very
us down the
drunk,
street.
and when he
Yeah.
came, and I could see he was about to come bump into me. So I gave him a little hip
Yeah, he bumped
controller.
into you quite hard.
Yeah, so I stood my ground,
And
and
then he bumped
then
into Roger accidentally, and I pushed him. I moved him gently away from Roger, and he was like, "Don't you touch me, you blah blah," and just started going off.
yeah. Well, when he started going off, I started taking my watch off because I'm like, all right, I guess we're thrown down.
So,
It was
and
the
I
funniest
was,
thing was I think like 30 minutes earlier or an hour earlier, I said to Roger, I'm like, oh, Melbourne's pretty safe. It's like I don't run into. I still stand by that. Anyone coming down to Melbourne,
I've
tourism,
never,
Victoria, Melbourne's pretty safe.
yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I've never had that situation before. And he was like, his poor sober mate. He's like telling his sober mate, he's like, bash this guy, blah blah blah. And the sober mate's looking at me. I'm just like, don't even bother. Like I kept walking. I was like, don't even
No.
like. What a joke. That was so funny. But no, yeah, I think as well that new faces, new decks. I mean, obviously there were some people there that were trying to just focus on the win, doing anything they can to win, having sweaty decks. But there was also
Yeah.
players that were like brand new that were excited to play. I think there was a guy who drove like 2 hours. Bendigo, was it? This guy
Yeah.
came like 2 hours to play. Super excited. So I think that all in all, the Meet a Dev events were a success. And we do thank Rogers, aka Sitzcrass, for
Yeah.
coming down to Australia and running these events. Yeah, I hope that we have some more locals popping up, and I feel like those stores do appreciate it and maybe are more motivated now to run events at their store.
Yeah. Well, not many games are devs coming down, meeting store
Right?
owners. I guess it shows just a little bit more credibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't want to just be known as a Kickstarter game.
No. You
So
also don't want to be known as like devs that just have no connection with anything as well.
yeah, definitely. So no, I think all in all, good events. And now we are going into, I guess, a little bit of a few upcoming Discord and online tournaments.
Yeah, I
We
mean, look,
are,
we are what 35 days away from Ultra release.
yeah, about
Nearly,
that. What's that?
yeah,
End of
yeah. It's
April.
28th of April, so like we
Hmm.
are not far away from the big boom, so to speak. Like when everyone's going to be jumping in, and with that, we've
Yeah,
got some big tournaments coming up, and like these tournaments are kind of huge because before this, Grand Archive hasn't sponsored a tournament technically. All of the online Discord tournaments have been community run. This is the first, like, they're putting a stamp on it. Grand Archive, they are running this tournament, which
yeah,
is kind of huge because that means they're talking about in the chat, it's like 12 boxes of prizing or something,
yeah,
which
something
is like,
crazy.
we've been doing one box of prizing for the community events. So to have 12 boxes, this is like going to be huge. And it's right before Altar. So people will be scrounging to get cards because they're going to deck check your cards. You're not going to be able to just play on TTS
Yeah,
without a deck. So I think it's 3 days before Ultra release, and you have to have a proper deck. So people
yeah,
are like, if I want to play it, I'm going to have to buy cards 3 days before my boxes get here, which will be interesting.
yeah. We'll see how that works out. Deck checking, you have to, I guess. Like in these bigger tournaments, you got to make sure that everything's above board.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we've got the Grand Archive sponsor tournament. We have the Alta Marketplace tournament, which is going to be in May, but which is going to be another big tournament. So VS Pie
Wow.
and that are going to be running another one.
Another. Didn't you won the
Mate,
last marketplace tournament, mate?
I won the last Marketplace tournament.
Boy,
I believe prizes are on their way. So again, thank you for that.
exciting.
Well, the prizes were stupid for that one. Like
Mm-hmm.
that prize is
Mm-hmm.
just, I think I've got a deck box, a playmat, a
Kickstarter
holo
box?
Kingdom Informant Kickstarter box. Just we'll throw that.
Jesus.
We'll just slide that one in there underneath.
Loaded. Loaded. I wonder what this one will have. There's
Got
been no
no emblem,
information.
but got a KS box.
There's been no information on pricing for that one yet, is there?
Nah, but I assume it's going to be something crazy.
Sig?
And
Sig
then
first, surely.
I wouldn't put it past VS5, but I doubt it. But I won't be hating on it. We've also then got the big Tavern Brawlers Championship. So
Yep. Shout out
That's
to Tavern Brawlers.
also
April 1st for Americans, April 2nd for us. 6 a.m.
yeah.
start for us, mate. Or 7 a.m. start.
It's I better be because we're judges. So I don't know about you. I'm not the biggest morning person, so there might
Mate,
be some
it is currently the
questionable
morning.
calls.
I'm not a morning person.
There might be some questionable calls. No,
Yeah.
I'll judge like a champion. Don't worry about
Oh, it's so funny.
that. I'm happy to bribes or whatever, even compliments. Just a just a
just tell
just
me
a
I'm having
cheeky
a good day.
compliment.
Yeah, just tell me I'm looking good today. You can have the
And
win, mate.
yeah. So we've got a few upcoming tournaments. I know when Alta comes out, I'm assuming stores will start looking at running
Yeah.
events.
So
Um,
with Alta next month, all the event packs will be coming as well.
yeah.
So we will have locals with those event packs with the gold and silver packs. So all of those, and also, you know what I'm excited about? This is quite a little thing. I'm excited about all the Alta packs we've been saving up. That I'm pretty sure we all trade in for first edition packs, but
I
we have
traded
been
mine in for
saving.
first.
Yeah, but we have
So
been technically
originally
saving them up.
it was a 1-4 conversion rate, and then deal maker amongst us, got that down to 1 in 3.
Oh, that's
Uh,
value.
yeah, it was at some point, I don't know, I think I had like 10, 11 packs. I
Did you
can't
hit Matt?
remember
Did you hit
exactly,
anything
but a
good?
couple of SRs. I think I hit a foil as well. So
Nice.
if
There
you'll
you go.
take that,
That's
you
what you want.
definitely
What'd you
take that.
get? You won. You won locals last night, right?
Yeah,
What'd you get from the
Arcane
Kickstarter pack
Right's
with
not
that?
dead.
Arcane
Got a
Rice.
Nimoy.
Oh, Nimue.
Nimoy.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Arcane Right is not dead.
What were your
Um,
matchups?
Water Sylvie, game 1.
Okay. Okay.
Win Lorraine, game 2.
Okay.
And a fellow Arcane Rye.
Oh, joys!
2 Arcane Ryes.
I did hear that
Yeah.
that Water Sylvie had a 9-10 rabbit at some point last night. I got a photo from Campbell
Yes.
saying, "Look at this
Yeah.
rabbit," and there was a
He's
huge
playing
dewdrop
the
hair.
Meadowbloom Dryads.
Mm.
And because they've got Preserve, I was killing it. I'm like, I'd rather you pay it that cost again because that waste 3 cards for you to put out. And then roughly know he needs another 4 cards till he's get a dewdrop hair out.
Mm.
Or 3 cards for the wolf. I'm like, no, I'm going to make you keep burning cards. But I don't want to name names, but it looks like Geo didn't. I
I
think he
want
ended
to
up
name
winning that
names,
game
but
anyway.
Geo.
He there was a couple of Dryads out, and I finished my match, and I was walking around tables, and I'm like, it's a lot of dice on the
I'm
dewdrop
more.
hair.
I'm
That's a
more
lot of
concerned.
dice.
I'm more concerned that the Sylvie got to level 3. Normally, they just don't. They don't get there, mate.
I think Water Silver you can get there pretty consistently, and then plus you've got the interceptors. Unfortunately, in our game, when you're minimum level 8 Rye and you can start fishing through your deck, you just go Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, Arcane
no spell
Blast, and a
shroud
Fireball.
boots. No spell shroud
Nah, it was already been gone, but when you're allowed to just go through your whole deck and
yeah,
it's fun. The Win Lorraine was a little bit, I kind of probably high rolled a bit. Was able to get to level 3 pretty quickly and was able to double Arcane Blast or triple Arcane Blast that game.
no
And then in
safeguard
the
amulet.
mirror, no safeguard amulet.
Oh,
And then in the third game, I had the shield, and Jared didn't, but we'll take it.
so
We'll
you
take it.
might,
So I think
and I'm
Jared. I
pretty sure
think
you
Jared
recorded
had
the
to beat
finals.
Water Lorraine. What was that?
You recorded the finals. You might have it up on.
I recorded the
channel.
finals. I'm going to put it up. We had audio, but there was some Warhammer people in that room. The language is a little bit 50-50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to narrate over that gameplay.
Nice. Okay.
Because we don't want to use the audio from that game. And also I was having issues with microphones, so it's all over the joint. But
speaking of which, while we're on it, congratulations, 100 subscribers, Gazimus channel. Climbing,
pretty happy with that.
Climbing, holy moly!
I did say the goal was 100 by Alta. So I'm happy that I've got there earlier.
that confirms that there's at least 100 Grand Archive players, right?
Yeah, we'll say that. So I think
That's
I'm at
good.
102 as of this morning. But who checks that every 15 minutes? Not me. I tell you that.
Oh,
Not
103.
me.
Yeah, nice.
No, it's like, yeah, I guess it's for just pure Grand Archive content. I'm pretty happy with that, and hopefully
That's
the
great.
people that have subbed. Yeah, there'll be a Rye narrated video coming out in real life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's a little bit of glare just on my champion, but I'm
It's
playing
not good
Arcane
enough.
Rye.
It's not good enough, mate. You got to fix it.
I've bought lights and that, but I'm so shit at it. If anyone's got like tips on how to like do lighting and whatnot,
Please.
Ginger, I'm
Yeah,
asking you.
please.
Just anyone. I've bought all this gear, no idea. Like I can get the microphones to work every second game. I don't know what's going on.
It's all right. If you get enough subs, then you can have like a technical man come and run everything.
Have you seen it? Like I'm bringing more and more stuff to locals now every week. At first it's just my backpack. Now I've got 2 bags.
You have like a
I'm there
camera crew.
early. I'm there early,
That's
hooking
so
shit
funny.
up to the table, just slowly.
You can have like tapes so people can't walk past and stuff. Like, sorry, mate. Yep, no.
Do you know what? But like random people have been coming past. I'm like, oh, what are you recording? And then that gives me a way to like go into like, oh, it's Grand
Yep.
Archive, new game
Not
coming out.
yeah. Not they'll be like, wow,
So
it must be a big deal. This guy's just really excited to play the game.
yeah. And like some people walking past, try hard, but whatever.
Yeah.
We do what we can. We do what we can.
What do you? So do you have stock coming for Altar?
Yes, yeah. I think I've got a case and a couple of starter decks.
Are you looking for the faithful Merlin chase? Is that your plan, or what do you want to hit?
If I did get a Merlin, I'd probably be prone to like maybe siding that out because I know people want that.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a bit more cash. Maybe if I get a Tristan, I'll probably keep it. Just be a bit weeby of me.
I feel like the moment you actually get a Sig though in your hands, it's going to be harder than you think to get rid of it. As in, you probably want to keep it.
Yeah, like considering like all my Flesh and Blood cards, and I've been in pretty early in Flesh and Blood. I haven't sold. I sold some early cold foils that I had duplicates of.
Yeah.
And then I think I've sold, apart from that, 2 cards that I had 3 legendaries
so
of.
that's
So I'm
not
like,
much
well, I'll keep 2. And
yeah.
Like for anyone that plays Flesh and Blood, I think I've got like 10, 11 Command and Conquers. You only need 3 for a deck. And I'm like, just keep them.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to cards. So let's be real. If I probably do get a Sig, I probably won't sell it.
I saw Tunics the other day. They're like now $450 rainbow foil.
Yeah, and they've printed them a lot of times.
Crazy.
I look at Grand Crusader Ring and just like, that's a Tunic. If like I'm trying to think of like what other magic, I don't know. That's that mana rock that mana vault. That's it.
Black. People have been also putting GCR in relation to Black Lotus, and saying the other foil URs are the other Mox Opals. That sort have been also being said. One of us did drive an hour over the weekend and drop a bit of cash on a certain shiny ring that I'm getting the consequences still of doing so. But we do have, it's not with me sadly, but there is a shiny ring that's now in this house.
And it's not Amy's engagement ring,
no,
apparently.
It's not Amy's. It was probably the same. It was the same price as Amy's engagement ring, actually. So I may as well have just bought 2 engagement rings. But no, I have got my hands on a foil GCR. They're very hard to get right now. There are people in America that are buying up multiples of them, whether they're trying to buy them all to hold the market or whatever. But it's hitting a point which is quite surprising. People are wanting to trade SIGs for a foil GCR.
No.
So foil GCR started at about 1800 AUD when someone bought it in Australia. But then now it's gone from there all the way to a SIG trade, which is like 2.5 to 3,000. So the foil GCRs are rising even through the US sellout, because obviously US has their stock now, and US, the people who aren't interested in the Kickstarter are currently selling. So things have dropped maybe 10 to 15%. But foil GCRs are on the rise.
And I do believe we may have had a friend also manage to
Oh man, that's ridiculous. We're
manage
talking
to just rip a pack.
our friend that
Just rip a pack.
already bought a foil GCR managed to open.
Yeah.
Well, Geo opened his pack. I'm so over
Yeah.
this. I'm so over this like mythological fantasy that when Geo opens stuff, he opens the goods, and it till this day, it still is a thing, and it happens, and I just don't want to believe it. But
Well,
Geo took Yap's pack and opened it for him. One pack, and there was a foil GCR in there.
in my, Geo, sorry, I'm like, I guess maybe because I am, for work, I'm a statistics, maybe 70% of my workday.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of mathematician, so I just think it's probability. It's not.
How is it probability at this point? So
He's
what?
opened enough packs. It's
The
like it says
probability is that Geo opens a manga ace for Yap 3 weeks ago.
the card would still be in those
Opens
packs.
2 fables at GGG and opens a foil GCR. The cards will still be there.
The
I think
cards will still be there.
there's some magic going on there, mate. So wait, technically, so hold on. Technically, if Geo didn't open them, then we'd be calling Yap lucky, right?
I'd say, like, yeah, you got lucky, but I know Yap's pretty superstitious. So I don't think Jay's off the hook for him opening
Nah,
cards.
I do not think so.
And our local game store also, I think, is like recruiting Jay to open when they open boxes for
I think
singles, just
Geo might
because.
start getting paid. He might be on the actual payroll at this point. PPO.
Yeah, well, I think he's going
opener.
rate. I think just like he's cheaper than staff, because I think just for at our local game store, he just got a packet of beef jerky. So that might have been like $8 for an hour's work, and $8 is a good rate in Australia.
They need to pay Geo 10 cents just to look at the pack to see whether he's going to open or not, and then a further $10 to open it.
At least 20 cents a card or something. Get a couple of bucks per pack.
Oh man. So we had some more questions sent to us this week.
Yes. We had a couple of questions, and they are. I don't have the names for these. Did you get the names, or were these?
Nah,
or these
they
the
were
anonymous ones?
They were anonymous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got. Is Merlin viable without erupting? Oh, you take this one as you played more Merlin than me.
Viable. The word viable is such a flexible word.
I'm going to say no.
I will say it's just so the way I see it, right? Main finisher combos and damage come from advanced elements. Advanced elements in Arcane, you've got Arcane Blast, Erratic Bolt, etc.
You got the card draw too in Arcane.
Main advanced element combo in Crux, you got in Soul, you've got in Fusion, etc. Main in Luxem, you've got Lightweaver's Assault combos to finish stuff off. And then you've got main advanced elements in Terra. You've got like the big boys like Verdus, Meta, Blue,
Call of the Pack as well. And then you get the +2 to the board.
All these advanced element cards are finishers. The only other choice of finisher that's not advanced element is Fireball, Erupting Rhapsody, etc. So to specifically say, is Merlin viable without Erupting Rhapsody, I would have to say no. Just because I can't see Merlin in Wind having a win condition. I can't see it in Water having a win condition. If Selkie did not come in rested, Mistbound Cutthroat, if it didn't come in rested and it came in active, that would be amazing. But the fact that it comes in rested stops it from being a win con, in my opinion, just because they die over and over again. Nah, I can't see it. I see Merlin being fun. And Merlin is cool in fire. You can do some cool stuff in fire, but
if this was a draft question, I'd have Merlin at top. I'd have Merlin as the best hero to play.
Mm-hmm. And I think that
Um,
Merlin with like just fireball shenanigans is fine, but I feel as though if you've got a fireball, you may as well run Erupting Rhapsody as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
and you
just,
just get those levels. So I just don't see it
yeah,
not being viable.
like
I mean, not being the only option.
how does Wind win without having the like obviously the warrior package of allies and without having
Yeah.
the assassin package of Poise Strike? How does Wind win?
I can't see Wind Mage ever winning without Arcane Blast and
I agree.
Erratic Bolt
I agree.
or Storm, like Storm of the Advent. That
Hmm
15
hmm
cost that does 2 per card. Like, I don't know.
I agree.
Like,
I
or
think
some weird thing with like power overwhelming because you can have so many light encounters. That's all Arcane.
Windride just
There's
builds.
no wind.
Yeah, Windride just builds in light encounters and sets you up for an arcane game.
Yeah, yeah,
But then if you look at like water, they just get rid of a lot of floating memory, but they don't actually do anything else either. So,
no.
yep, that's a no for me.
Okay, so and then the other couple of questions were more related, not to strategy, but
Hmm
just in general. So
Yep.
the first one is history with TCGs. So I'm assuming that's our
History
history
with
with TCGs.
TCGs. Okay, would you
I'll
like
let
to go
you go
first?
first.
Me first.
Oh,
Alrighty.
go for it.
All right. So I guess if you want the full history, I can put it in a little bit of a shorter way. I played Magic the Gathering when I was younger. I didn't play it for much. Played for maybe a year and a half, 2 years back in the Innistrad days where you had the cards that like would flip over and stuff. I think that was about 10 to 12 years ago. Made a vampire deck, had a lot of fun. That was very cool. My main TCG history, other than that, would go to online TCGs. So I played Hearthstone competitively. At one point, was top 10 in NA with Hearthstone. Spent a lot of money on Hearthstone, way too much money on Hearthstone. Played a bit of Gwent, played some Legends of Runeterra. Every TCG you can think of online, I've played. Shadowverse, I played that back in the day, etc. And then I moved into once COVID hit, I kind of jumped into the Dragon Ball TCG scene. So 2019 ish, just before COVID, started playing Dragon Ball TCG, and then played that all the way till Grand Archive. So I played a lot of DBS. I was playing
Yeah.
more just because the local scene and having a community was kind of good for me at the time. But before that, I was just online TCGs, just grinding. Those were the days back when I was a teenager and I could sit there for 15 hours straight playing TCGs.
Yeah.
These days, I cannot
Uh,
do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Oh, and Fab, of course. I forgot. I played Fab for maybe 6 months, but I did play it quite hard in that 6 months.
yes, you did. You
Mm-hmm.
winged out a couple ninja decks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mine. I guess the first cards I ever had were Pokemon cards. But they never played the game. I think we used to see who could throw the card the furthest, and then you'd win both cards. So my first edition Pokemon cards, they weren't gem mint.
Jeez. PSA 5s at
Uh,
least.
and then the first game I started playing was a Yu-Gi-Oh. That was as a kid. And would use any like sort of pocket money that I had to buy packs.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was like buying sporadically, the cards never went together. But I was pretty good
Yeah.
at that, like at playing people my own age with my non-fake cards. A lot of people. Do you remember Pipeworks?
Yes.
I was beating people with my low-powered original cards and them just going to Pipeworks. But that's because people just jam them with high summons and not and play like the Yu-Gi-Oh TV rules where you can just do whatever the fuck you want and not actually play the game. And I was a bit of a rules
Rule
strict
shark,
on the
mate.
rules. That's it. And then kind of I played nothing till like after uni, and then got into like online TCGs. Played Gwent fairly competitively.
I
Got up
liked
there.
Gwent.
Played Gwent a lot, and then they just kept changing it. And I was like, "No, this game's kind of crap now."
Mm-hmm.
Randomly came across a YouTube video. I think it was Team Covenant for Fab,
Mm-hmm.
and got into Fab when Arcane Rising was out here.
Nice and early.
So very early. I remember that I remember on the marketplace I read that these cold falls are probably like underpriced. the first edition. So I drove around to every store, pretty much in Victoria. I was going to the chaff bins and just picking them up. I was buying them. Some were costing me 10 cents a card.
Wow.
So I did that. Still play Fab. Fab pretty competitively. And now I've also added Grand Archive. Not really a collector. That's maybe more you and the rest of our group.
Mm-hmm.
I am more a player. So yeah, it's my history with TCGs. There was, I guess, a window of not during university and in early career.
Yeah.
Because as a teenager, I didn't have a lot of cash. I would
Same.
working jobs that were giving me enough for, I guess, a meal a week.
That's
I
why
think I was working just with my
That's why online TCGs were easier to play because you could just grind out your rewards if you needed to. You didn't have to really buy anything. Where I felt like with Magic at the time, you have to pay $200-300 to have a competitive deck for that set or whatever, which was too much at the time.
oh yeah. To be
But no,
honest, it's like
there you go.
decks aren't cheap when you think about it.
No, they're not. And it's quite interesting actually because I've had a few. I wouldn't say heated. I've had a few interesting discussions that are kind of the same as what you were just saying about the cold foils, how you were going and buying them for 10 cents. People are thinking that the foils in GA and the first edition stuff will go down to nothing pretty much. Or a lot of people think that it's going to be very cheap to get stuff. And there's been some heated discussions because people are like, oh, it's overpriced. SIGs are going to go down to 1,000 American, which is like, what, 1,800 Australian. And then also there's also been the discussion of how the foil champions should be the same price as the rest of the common foils as well. So there's a few interesting discussions in regards to
it's
pricing.
demand and supply. The demand for the other foils isn't going to be the same as a foil champion, even if they are printed the same. But from what I've learned from Fab, I guess that's what I can pull from. There's a difference between first edition and Alta. Alta, at the moment, released the print numbers. It's about 5,000 extra boxes. However, there's a caveat on that it can be printed until 2025. So that 17,000 boxes is going to grow to 50,000. And we'll talk about Fab. We'll talk about the original trading card game. We'll talk about Magic. They printed the same cards in 5 different sets. What is it? Alpha, Beta, Revised, Limited. 4 of the cards the same times, white border. First edition has a premium because it's first. 2 collectors. Now, 2 players, and me being a player. Just get Alta. If you don't care, if you don't want there's going to be some cards in Alta that are still not going to be cheap. I can't see GCR Alta ever being $5.
No.
But just get Alta. You don't need I was lucky to get some first edition. I won a box. We done it in pricing support and whatnot. But I don't for me it's not a big deal.
It's deliberately set up where they have first edition for the collectors, and people obviously can buy the singles and stuff, but Alta is then set up to play with. It's already set like that. It's deliberately like that. But they also are trying to make sure that there are some cards that are of value still, because you don't want a box that's worth nothing and no one wants to purchase either. So the fact that they've got different signatures in there and you've got the 5 Alta cards in there gives it an opportunity to have people who are also in the first edition scene to buy Alta as well.
Yeah, in the starter decks too. I think the SIGs in starter decks, I definitely would mind one of them. It's like the Lorraine and Rye that I play. So
yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. But I'm not going to chase it just because for me, I like to play multiple different decks and I'd rather spend money on being able to play everything than playing one deck at max rarity. Because you can have all the foils, it's not going to make you a better player. And I'm all about playing. Now, last question, which I guess is kind of about playing, but about what happens when your game's not going your way. Someone has asked us, how do you deal with salt? Now, me personally, I don't really get salty playing card games. I see card games as me having fun, even with at the events I've played at with more on the line. If I lose, so be it. I never. I get disappointed when I make bad plays. Usually, if I make the same bad play twice,
Yeah.
if I've done it in a game before and I've done it again, then I'm pretty harsh on myself. But I try not let the opponent see that.
Yeah.
I I very much dislike at the end of a game. I know I still do it, but it's because I'm trying to talk myself for how I lost the game. Got to do it
Hmm.
more in my head. When at the end of a game and the person's like, "Oh, if I done this, I could, I
Oh,
would
I
have
hate
won."
it. I hate it.
I know I still do it. I'm trying to internalize that, so it's just going through in
Mm.
my head. Um,
I it's very interesting because in all card games, I feel like this is getting a little bit more psychological, but I feel like in card games there are so many people that can't have the same trait where they can't accept fault. So
yeah,
if they are to lose, they have to find an avenue to why they lost. It has to be like, oh, you drew this, so you won. You're so lucky. I drew shit, so I lost. I'm so unlucky. But
yeah.
whenever I lost to I lost in the semifinals the other day, and I've lost when I lose, whatever. I'm just like they played better than me. I lost.
Yeah.
The end. And I'd much rather accept that and be like, okay, I didn't play as well. I lost. Full stop. Than like try to. It just feels gross when people make those weak excuses, and like it just sounds like they're trying to reach for something to make them feel better.
I also don't get salty if you draw bad. Like I can't
It's a
get
card
if
game.
stuff's out of my control. That's why I get more like upset if I did something wrong. So like in the games, like at one of the events, I went 22 cards deep and didn't see an insult. I'm like,
That's rough.
it's rough. Next game or the next night, the night when I went, still did well at the event. Like I think I only lost a game each event.
Yep. Yep.
But even at the next event, I had the nuts draw. So like didn't play well,
Mm.
stomped that game, and it's
Mm.
like that's just part of card games. That
Yep.
is probability. That is, especially with me, I was playing like a very casino high roll deck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I can't get angry at chance. Like
Nah.
it doesn't make
No.
sense.
I just can't get
Um,
angry at someone if they play better than me. If they've done a good job, then good
yeah,
on them. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. You can always come back better and stronger the next time. Especially so in my when I was playing Dragon Ball Super and we like would go to nationals and stuff. There were people in my friends group that like I'd win my game or I'd try to stay focused mid game, and your friend would come up and be like, "Oh, I lost this round. I'm so unlucky. This is bullshit." And it's just like it's just empty noise. Like you don't want to hear that when you're trying to focus on winning a tournament. You don't want someone in your ear explaining, "Oh yeah, turn 4 I drew this and that's why I lost." It's like I don't care. Like
so to,
internalize it, as
to
you said.
to answer the question, how do I deal with salt? I have a notebook with me when I play games.
Mm,
If there is a I feel the game's warranted it, and if I am pretty, I guess, salty, I've made a misplay, I made a bad read, I write down the game, not who I was versing, but like what champion I was versing.
mm-hmm.
Write down like my decisions before it,
Yeah.
and then just have a quick look at that and be like, okay, what was I thinking? How can
Mm,
I become a better player from that?
yeah.
If you're getting salty because I don't know, you get an opening hand, you have no floating memory, and a quarter of your deck's floating memory. You can't get salty at that.
No.
That's card games.
If I get
Like
salt, the way I deal with saltiness as well, if I am salty, I just remove myself from the situation.
no.
I'll leave. I don't like. I'm not going to sit there and embarrass myself or say stuff if I'm salty. I'd much rather go and just internalize and self reset than because as I think everyone gets salty. I've been salty at times, but
Oh
it's
yeah, you
more as you
can't.
said. It's more like let down in myself than angry at anyone else. Like I'm just disappointed in how I played or what I've done wrong. Because normally the salty moments are normally ones where it's like you think you have won the game and then you obviously haven't. There's a misplay or something where you've actually miscalculated and then you look like an idiot and you
No.
lose the game. That's when I get salty.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. how to deal with salt. It's going to be, you can't avoid getting upset, especially if you really want to win or if you're really like, but think about the other person across from you. If they, 99% of the time, they're not a jerk. They're not being an asshole. They're just,
Yeah.
they're being a good person. So don't try be considerate to them.
You know what's interesting is actually
If they are an absolute tool, then do whatever you want, man.
I
I
feel as
played a
though
game across someone that's called a judge 7 times for just
wow.
anything, like, and I was like,
I feel
this
like
guy.
normally though, if you're versing a good player, and I mean this comes from Dragon Ball as well, but like all the really good players were actually the most nicest and humblest people. Like they would
Yeah.
be so nice to you while they destroy you on the board. Like I've never really had a good player that is, a prick, so to speak. And
Yeah.
if they are a prick, they're probably not a good player. They're probably being shady of some sort. So I don't think there's many good players that are actually normally because
Yeah.
they want to play with people, right? And the only way you can play with people is from people liking you. People will not play with you if they do not like you. So if you're not
Yeah.
nice to play with, you'll have no one to play with, and you can't get better.
And there's
So
a quick tip, I guess, to all the people that have been playing a lot and you're getting new people into this game. I'm not saying to lose to them, but when you're playing, don't boast to a new
do you
player.
know
Yeah,
how
we
many
want to
starter
grow this
matches I've
community.
lost? Do you know how many starter matches I've lost? I'm not saying as well to lose deliberately, but I would much rather have a learn to play match with someone, let them win that match and make them feel good about themselves, and they'll probably come back for the next 6 months and play. I think it's a
Yeah,
great idea.
especially like if you're playing a fully tuned deck and someone comes with
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking when Alter comes out with a starter Lorraine or starter Rye list.
Yeah.
Win the game, but don't because I've seen people start a game and then they just they're not having fun experiences and they're out.
Yeah.
So just consider. I know that there'll be event packs on the line or whatsoever, and you want to win them. I get it. I want to win them.
Lucky for you, you've got a really sweaty local, so it's fine.
Our locals is going to be very very sweaty. But if there's a new player, I'm also going to be conscious to make sure that once we reel them in, then
Well, I struggled with these dev events because I automatically, when I play a new player, I automatically go to teaching mode, and I automatically go to it doesn't matter about the result. I want to teach the person. So I was conflicted multiple times in the events where I'm like, well, I want to teach this person, but I also want to win. I also want to win.
I was very. I had played multiple people playing decks that I had posted videos for.
Yes,
So
you are a
I was
celebrity now,
very.
mate. You are a
I was
celebrity.
very very. Yeah, it was weird. It
I
was
saw
weird
I saw
because it
out the
was
front,
like,
didn't you? Weren't you signing some crave
oh yeah,
shocks out the
signing
front?
things.
Pretty sure there was a crave shock and some
Oh, yeah.
devastating blows getting signed.
You saw me at the front asking for $20.
So
Saw me sitting down there, man. Can you spare
yeah.
me $1?
Please, I want to play this event, please.
No. So I was just cool. So yeah, I might have been a bit more of a teacher in those ones because
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's like, I know that deck.
you've been making your YouTube videos are very informational and very teaching. So I feel as though you've always got tips and you've always got things that you're kind of building to help people with. So like
Ideally,
your Rye YouTube video, right? Like you've got this is the starter deck. This is what you should add to it, and people have been talking about that. So now you just got to do the
there's a
Lorraine as
couple of
well, right?
typos in that deck in that video. I
Oh,
apologize for
really?
that. I made that in the wee hours of the morning. There was a few typos, but we'll make videos a little when I'm a bit more awake. But I was just like, had that idea, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it now. It was
Yeah,
like 2
yeah.
in the morning, and but still watch the video. Still got some good tips.
Any tips to close us out here, mate?
Any
That you can
tips?
think of?
If we're gonna continue doing these morning podcasts, which I think we should because it's a good time,
I need a coffee next time.
is a coffee. Is wake up an extra 5 minutes early and let's smash out a coffee.
Yeah. That is a good tip.
That is my tip. That's the first thing I'm doing once we wrap this up.
Yeah. Beauty. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else you can think of?
No, I think we're good.
All right, thanks guys so much for watching. Sorry for once again for another semi-delayed podcast. We did have the big events and
You
stuff.
can blame
We'll be
Roger.
doing, we'll be doing continuing our weekly events, weekly podcasts, and we're thinking of doing some events in the podcast, like we've said in the past, like doing the lineage break wheels and maybe playing some games, adding them to the podcast as well. So if you have any ideas or any events you guys want us to do, please let us know. Keep asking us questions. We really enjoy it.
No.
And don't forget, Grandpa Joe coming to you. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
See
See
ya.
yous.